Hello, students. Welcome back to our current affairs series. Now, till March month, we have already covered, and we will be going forward till our prelims examination 2020. So, we will be starting with April month, and simultaneously, we'll also be covering the May month, right? So, April and May month will go simultaneously. Then, after that, we'll take up the remaining months, June, July, and later on, right? So, let us start. So, first session will be with respect to indexes and report. Second sessions will be with respect to the locations. Right. So this time we have some reports only of the international arena. We don't have any India specific indexes and report. And at the end of the session, I will also revisit the previous. For example, today we'll revisit the reports of the UNCTAD. So also the idea is to provide you some of the reports that we have covered earlier. So the idea is to provide you the compilation sort of thing as well. Okay. So let us quickly start. The first report is by the United Nations Secretary General on the topic of corona, and majority of the reports now will be COVID centric, isn't it? Only leaving aside 1 to 2 reports, every report is now concerned with respect to COVID, its impact on variety of topics, whether it be trade, whether it be remittances, whether it be the overall need of the uh, global solidarity, right? So it's the first one. It released a report titled Shared Responsibility and Global Solidarity for immediate health responses that are required for the many social and economic dimensions of the crisis. Now, also remember, we are talking about the April month, right? So, still the crisis is unfolding. Currently, we are entering into the August month. So, see from that perspective. So, along with the report, United Nations also established a new multi-donor trust fund for COVID-19 response and recovery. Now, we in the March month, just like we have done in the March month, we will be having some COVID centric sessions as well. For example, within the governance, we will be discussing COVID centric response in India, and international affairs, we will discuss some COVID centric response and the international level. Okay. Second is COVID-19 mobile community mobility report. So, it is a report by the Google. So idea is to provide that how the mobility of the community and the people have changed while combating at the COVID-19 because of the many of the lockdowns and many things, how it has changed, right? So the report covers around 131 countries, chart movement of the people by geography across different categories. For example, they have done for many countries. For example, with respect to India, they have said that retail and recreation have decreased to 59%. The movement to the supermarkets and pharmacy have decreased to minus 11%, to the parks decreased to 50%, right? You see, majority of these reports will not be very important. However, we never know with respect to UPSC. Next is ILO's monitor. So the report is COVID-19 and the world of work. Like, it's very normal, right? The reports with respect to the impact of COVID-19 on the work, majority will be released by the ILO only. Okay. Released on the third edition of its report. Now, COVID-19 has impacted the world at a very different level, isn't it? So the impact can be seen at the level of work, because now the work majority of the work is being done on the online scale, whether it be e-learning, whether it be the other private sector. A lot of, for example, Google recently announced that they will allow all the employees to till June 2021 work from home. Now, getting work from home impacts a lot of people in different way. For about the informal economy, for example, one of the analysis I have kept it here. So analysis on the which are the sectors which are the most risk, and within that, what is the impact on the women. Okay. So if you see the most risky sector, high risk sector in the informal economy, you can see gender bias. So women, around 42% of the women are there in the high risk sector as compared to 32% of the men. If you see the countries such as upper income countries, or in India, for example, 56% of the women are in the informal sector, and which are at the most critical juncture with respect to this COVID-19. They also give the framework. Okay, what should be the framework for the countries to go forward. These are just the point, you can use it somewhere, but just for the understanding sake, or just to make sure that we capture these ideas into our mind, we don't have to cram these reports. I just put these things out also. So for example, first pillar is stimulating the economy and the employment. So have an active fiscal policy. For example, India's Atmanirbhar Bharat plan, right? Accommodative monetary policy. For example, RBI's, for example, LTRO we have read, long term repo rates. Then supporting enterprise jobs and income, giving social protection, employment retention measures, provide financial or tax relief for enterprise, for MSME that we have done. Pillar 3 is protecting workers in the workspace. Those who are going to the workspace, they should be protected. So occupation, self and health measures, right? Some teleworking things or prevent discrimination and exclusion, provide healthcare access, expand access to the paid leave, relying on the social dialogues and solutions. So working on the community and the capacity building of the local government. So these are the various pillars through which ILO sends, okay, these are the ways through which we should respond to this currently unprecedented crisis. Next is UNCTAD's update on its report of trade and development. Now the top topic of the report is very striking, from a great lockdown to the great meltdown, right? Because over the world the GDP will shrink due to this COVID crisis. So they're talking about developing the country's debt in the time of the COVID-19. So this report, we know it's released by the UNCTAD. Next is Global Energy Review. So this particular energy review, this is released by the International Energy Agency, IEA. One thing I'll suggest to you people, for example, we have covered already 10 months of current affair. Please download all the PDFs from our Telegram channel, and you can prepare international institutions and reports and indexes very well. We have covered it very structurally, isn't it? So the review talks about the impact of the COVID-19 crisis on the global energy demand and the CO2 emissions. Obviously, the energy demand has decreased. In India itself, the oil demand has decreased because of the lockdown. So overall, it has created a huge impact on the energy prices also. Next report, which is not related to COVID. Till now, we have seen all the reports which are related to COVID. This is by the Internal Displacement Monitoring Center, which is a part of the IDMC, which is a part of a non-government organization known as the Norwegian Refugee Council. Okay, so it is a part of a non-governmental organization. So what they have said, so the name of the report is GRID, Global Report on Internal Displacement. So they talk about India has the highest number of the new disaster displacement, around 5 million in the world in 2019. They're not talking about the COVID crisis, the unprecedented migration crisis we have seen in India, humanitarian crisis we have seen in India is not accounted in here. With respect to that, we will have several reports and it will be a case study going forward in the future. Next, very important, Press Freedom Index. This report is very important, whether it be your GS, your prelims. Obviously, we are discussing prelims, but in the GS, in your essay, this report is very important. Why? Because whenever you quote about the problems with respect to media in India, you always quote this figure. Okay, our press freedom index is this particular thing. And over the years, it is being dropping. So for example, the recent report, we have dropped 2 more points to the rank of 142 out of the 180 country. Who releases this particular index? That is Reporters Without Borders. Okay, so they are a non-profit Paris-based organization. Also focus on the Paris-based organization. We have already covered in our international institutions part. Okay, we already covered this institution. Next is, so what are the different criteria? We'll cover it in bit detail. So for example, which is the first country? It is Norway, Finland and Denmark. Those all Scandinavian countries. What is the last country? North Korea, Turkmenistan, Eritrea, China, Djibouti. Okay, what are the parameters? So pluralism, not only one media organization should be there, apart from the state media organization, other media organization should be there. Media independence, media environment and self-censorship. Self-censorship is a big issue. In India, we can see self-censorship. What does this mean? This means just to please a few set of people who are in the power, media tend to self-censor themselves. Do not attack the government. Do not do their watchdog role. So they put a sense of self-censorship so as to attract the government's patronage. Okay, then legislative framework is there or not. For example, in India, we do not have a proper legislative framework for media accountability as well. Then transparency, quality of infrastructure, support to the production of news and information. Fake news is becoming a big issue. Okay, so this is the map. For example, India is now in the same category as the countries such as Russia, right? So not a very good position India has now, in a difficult situation. Very serious conditions are these countries, China, as we have discussed, China, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and these countries. Right. How this index they come about? So basically they prepare a questionnaire, okay, and they send this questionnaire to people from journalists, media lawyers, researchers, and other media specialists. So they fill that questionnaire on different question, different and based upon that data they compile this particular index. Next is South Asia Economic Focus Report. So this is a report from the World Bank. So report saw India's growth at 1.5 to 2.8 2021. However, this don't remember this figure, because as the lockdown will increase, obviously the lockdown or the COVID impact is there. We will see different figures coming up. We will see how the situation turns out. Just remember South Asia Economic Focus Report by the World Bank. Right. Very factual stuff, right? But we have to get it through. Next is State of World's Nursing. Again, this report is by the WHO. World's Nursing, from the name itself, you can guess, okay, what is the focus on the world's nursing. Now, in the COVID crisis, the focus has been on the paramedical staff, the nursing staff, because we have witnessed a lot of death, a lot of health worker shortage that we have witnessed throughout the country and across the countries as well, isn't it? From many places, the people have the health worker from one country to the other country have to be sent so as to manage the crisis. Okay, so WHO has released, along with the National Council of the Nurse, have released this report on the state of world's nursing. Then next is Green Bond Impact Report. So Green Bond we have discussed. So Green Bond provides a financial mechanism to the people or to the organization, those who are investing, those who are working with the green technologies. Okay, so one of the major finding is that, okay, this report is released by the World Bank. So one of the major finding of this report is that renewable energy and energy efficiency and clean transportation make up 66% of the green bond commitments. Okay, so green bond, we have already discussed in our current affair that what is the green bond. Those who wants to, for example, some investor wants to invest only in the things, they are conscious about the environment and they want to invest in the things which are pro environment, and that is why they invest in these things. Okay, so having those ventures, having those kinds of bonds help to mobilize the investor of these kinds. Right. Next is very important, trends in the world military in expenditure 2019. Now, whenever you want to quote the statistics with respect to the investment being done or the spending being done on the defense, or that is the defense spending, right? How much money is spent on the defense, on the weapons by the different countries, you always quote this particular organization, that is Stockholm International Peace and Research Institute, SIPRI. Okay, Stockholm International Peace and Research Institute. Okay, so it's an international institute present and obviously in Sweden, because the name is Stockholm is there, dedicated to the research into the conflict, armaments, arms control, and the disarmament. So one of the finding is that India has become the top 3 military spender after US, China, and then India. After India, Russia, and Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia itself is a very big military importer also, predominantly from the USA only. Okay, right. So you can see USA is still the top one. So many people still argue that China is replacing USA as the first, as the global power, but there are some hardcore facts. US spends more than all the countries, all the 4 countries combined. So still US still has a very strong dominance over the on these areas. The fact says so. Okay, right. So 38% of the global's military spending is done by the USA. 62% done by the other countries such as USA, China, India, Russia, Saudi Arabia. Next, what about defense and India? So the comparison of the 5-year, just one second, comparison of the 2 5-year blocks have been done. So it has been seen from 2009 to 2013 versus the 2014 to 18. So comparison has been done, and it has been seen that it's a good thing that our imports have fell and our exports have increased. So the whole idea of indigenization of the defense manufacturing in India is still taking place. This one supports it. Okay, so our own defense equipment we import 54% from the Indian industry only. So it's a good trend. Now India wants to be one of the, we want to avoid our import independence, isn't it? We want to make sure that our defense manufacturing picks up. Okay, and also among the arms producers, India, four companies of India is among the top 100 biggest arm producer of the world. Now, if you remember in our defense current affairs, I have covered a lot of arms, right? Infantry weapons, various missiles, that have everything I've covered. So cover from those areas also. So India is the third military spender. Why is it so? Very easy. So tension rivalry with Pakistan and China. So when we have such neighborhood, it becomes imperative upon us to develop such capabilities, isn't it? Then military spending about the world as such. So the graph shows that from 2015 and 2019 are the 2 years in which the spending has increased. Otherwise, it is decreasing in the past 10 years. Okay, but not very important. You want to remember this trend. Again, one quote, actually, I just want to put a quote because that seems to be a lot of, in this context, seems to be very relevant. That every gun that is made, 34th USA President Dwight D. Eisenhower said, every gun that is made, every warship launched, every rocket fired signifies in the final sense a theft from those who hunger, those who hunger and are not fed, those who are cold and are not clothed, isn't it? So the money we are spending on these guns, warships, are in a sense theft from these people, isn't it? We are not getting our priorities right. There is a one good quote from the Martin Luther King Jr. that we have the guided missiles. We have guided missiles, but misguided men. So I like this particular quote. You can use all these quotes when you talk about the war and the peace, nuclear disarmament, or overall disarmament. In ethics also, there is a topic named as just war doctrine, right? International funding, ethical issues, international funding. So all these points can be talked about, right? Next is oil patch bankruptcy monitor report. Not very important, first of all, because it is being done by the released by some international corporate law firm, Heinz and Boone. So they talk about that how many of the producers of the oil and gas have filed for the bankruptcy since the beginning of the 2015. Not very important, but just for the sake of covering, we have covered it. Next is World Food Price Index. So it is given by the FAO. It is a measure of the monthly change in the international price of the basket of the food commodities. So obviously, because of COVID crisis, the demand has reduced. So World Food Price Index hits 17-month low. Next, very important and very interesting, UN's CIRF, that is UN's Commission on the International Religious Freedom Report. So it has downgraded India to the lowest ranking countries of particular concern in 2020 report. So one of the reasons they have cited that religious freedom in India is of concern is because of the Citizenship Amendment Act. It potentially exposes them, this is their tweet only, it potentially exposes millions of the Muslims to detention, deportation, statelessness when the government completes its planned NRC. Now we have discussed in detail about this NRC, NPR, census, what is the difference. I think it is the January month polity video, right? That is citizen-centric video. We have discussed all these points in detail. Okay, so India is put together with the countries like, you will be shocked to see, with the countries like China, with the countries like Russia. This is the countries of particular concern. China, Eritrea, North Korea, Pakistan, Tajikistan, Syria, Saudi Arabia. So we are put together countries like this. In fact, there has been a concern in Indian newspapers also that this much situation is not bad. However, if an international agency says so, that creates a dent on our soft power, isn't it? Because one of the major component of our soft power is the religious freedom or religious pluralism on which we thrive, on which we say that these are the pillars of our country. So whenever the reports like this come, they create a direct impact on the soft power of India, okay, and overall democracy as well. Then this same report, the US Commission on International Religious Freedom downgrades India in its 2020 list. So the last one is COVID-19 crisis through a migration lens report. So this particular report is by the World Bank. So World Bank says that remittances for 2020 is projected to fall 23%. Why? because many of the people on the from where the remittances are coming have come back to India, the Vande Bharat mission, isn't it? So when they'll come back, and obviously those who are staying also because of the job losses there, or the industry shutting down for considerable amount of time, they will not be able to send back remittances to the India, and hence obviously it is supposed to fall. So remember, all the reports with respect to the remittances, majorly all the reports are released by the World Bank only. Okay, right. So let us revisit, as I've said. So today's all the reports have finished. Let us revisit. So we will discuss the reports by the UNCTAD. What is UNCTAD? So it's a permanent intergovernmental organization established by UNGA in 1964. In 1964, they have established this UNCTAD. Okay, so it is a part of UN Secretariat and a principal body which deals with the trade, finance, investment, and the other developmental issues. Okay, so this is UNCTAD. Major report that we have discussed over the period of 10 months. So first is World Investment Report. This report that is out in the June month, we will discuss in the June month of 2020 report. 2019 report that we have discussed in the last time June month. Then Commodities and Development Report, Trade and Development Report. We have read today the update of it, from the global lockdown to the great lockdown to the great meltdown. Then Asia Pacific Trade and Investment Report, we have already discussed. Then E-commerce Index we have discussed, that is also UN CTAD. Okay, apart from that, we have already discussed one of the screenshots from the UN CTAD website only. What are the other reports they publish? For example, Digital Economy Report, Trade Technology and Innovation Report, Least Development Countries Report, Economic Development in Africa Report. But majorly these two are the, just one second, these two are the major flagship reports of the UNCTAD: World Investment Report and Trade and Development Report. Okay, and Commodities Development Report was news in the last time. Okay then, so let us revise what we have discussed today, and we will finish out the session after it. So we started with the Shared Responsibility and the Global Solidarity Report, published by the United Nations Secretariat General and the fund that they have released. Then Community Mobility Report by the Google. Then ILO report on the World of Work. Then update on the Trade and Development Report given by the UNCTAD. Then Global Energy Review 2020 by the IEA. Then Global Report on the Internal Displacement by the IDMC under the Norwegian Refugee Council NGO. Then Press Freedom Index, Reporters Without Borders. We have seen India has dropped down to 2 places. Then South Asia Economic Focus Report by the World Bank. Then we have discussed the State of World Nursing by WHO. Green Bond Impact Report by World Bank. Then trends in the world military. We have seen one of the quotes by the Dwight D. Eisenhower as well, by the CIPRI. And we have seen the defense and India. So some of the positive developments that are coming up. But being third largest military spender itself is not a very good, ethically saying, it's not a very good development, isn't it? Then Oil Patch Bankruptcy Monitor Report. Then World Food Price Index by FAO. Then United States Commission on the International Religious Freedom. And we have seen that India is come into the category of the countries of the particular concerns. And finally, the report on the remittances, that is COVID-19 crisis through a migration lens, so by the World Bank. Okay then, so we are done with our indexes and report in the April month. Next session will be on the May month indexes and report, and we'll try to summarize also. Let us revisit within that. We'll try to get one institute and the reports associated with it. So let us finish this session. See you in the next month. Thank you, everyone.